10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6.
Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is April 7th, and we've got a really quick episode for you all today. So let's get started with this discussion that came up in trading yesterday. So people were talking about Atlas, and S&G said, imagine all the time for new things after Atlas. And then S&G said, is that next fork expected to require a lot of Rocket Pool protocol changes? And Joe said it depends on whether or not it includes forced exits and beacon routes, if that makes it in. So forced exits, of course, will be where people either sign the transaction beforehand to let them let the protocol kick them off, or there'll be some kind of contract where the protocol has control over removing someone from the active validation set, and that is needed for that's one of the conditions for MEV for reducing the bond to LEB4s, because you can protect against the MEV theft. And then beacon route is a way of communicating between the consensus and execution layers, which will make the duties of the ODAO less than they are now. So if that makes it into the next Ethereum hard fork, then the Rocket Pool protocol will have to do quite a few changes to accommodate that stuff. If that doesn't make it into the next Ethereum hard fork, then if it's just proto-dunk sharding or something like that, then they won't need as many changes to the Rocket Pool protocol. So I guess we'll see what the word from the Ethereum all devs calls are after Atlas and what kind of stuff they want to put in there. So then conversation kind of went on where Valdov asked, thankfully in this case we can build after the feature exists instead of needing it to be ready. I'm not saying we wouldn't want to be ahead of it, of course. And Joe says, yeah, I don't know of any you have to do X, Y, Z or else you're bricked in the next update, which is really good for Rocket Pool. And then Vaka says we might even have time for more ODAO constitution and rewards discussions. Of course, that's always a favorite topic in the community. But Joe said, let me put one big caveat in. He says, if the fallout from these recent MEV boost shenanigans means there's a massive push towards adopting PBS or something like yesterday, that might be you have to do X, Y, and Z, or your bricked situation. So the MEV boost thing is, the stuff that we talked about this week, about how the time needed for a block is gotten a bit less, which means that people are missing attestations, and some people have missed blocks as well, and their invalid blocks are getting produced. So there's some issues with that. But if the Ethereum core developers want to make that a priority to fix that, then it might be the situation where there'll be big changes happening to the Rocket Pool protocol as well. And then Valdov said that would be something, and Joe says, I know a lot of people are pretty upset about it and discussions are being had, so we will see. So then this discussion went on, and Joe says, I'll keep you guys in the loop about all of this nonsense as I learn more. Right now, the latest is that Flashbots reached out to us asking if we're feeling the results of the 3-second block timer, and the answer is yes. I suspect you guys have seen a non-zero jump in missed head votes, and I personally have missed a whole bunch of attestations because of this stuff. My rated.network score went from being amazing, I've shared screenshots in trading before, to being abysmal, and I'm really disappointed about that, because I take my rated.network score very seriously. So I think that's the case for a lot of people. And then Charles the Sixth says, oh, is that where that's from? And Joe says, yeah. And then there was a whole bunch of discussions. So the discussion kind of changed towards the MEV boost stuff and the issues that are coming out because of that. And then Valdov shared his rated.network performance, and it's gone from being in the comfortable 96, 97 rate to going down to 92. And Joe says what's happened is, because of the way the blocks are made now, all the sources are having blocks that are just a handful of relays, and that's an obvious centralization issue, which means whoever is paired with the relays gets the new block first, and people that aren't and people that aren't peered may vote on the old block because they didn't get the memo, which is why we're seeing a ton of missing head votes now. So there's lots of issues that are coming up because of this. So maybe that might be a topic that the Ethereum core devs work on, and then depending on what they work on, then that will kind of make some changes to what the Rocket Pool team is working on as well. So thanks for that conversation. That was really interesting. Okay, so as some of you know, Loadstar are doing an incentive raffle that's been contributed to by ETHstaker. So there's a $25,000 raffle, I think, of some kind of like selection for people who use Loadstar on their nodes, provided they've got less than a certain number of validators on their node. They're eligible for this. And one of the things that's been happening is to qualify, you need to put Loadstar in your graffiti, then you get a proposal, and that's like kind of your entry ticket, I guess. I'm not sure. But anyway, Joe reached out to the Loadstar people because the Rocket Pool community was kind of upset because we already have a certain number of letters taken up by our Rocket Pool auto graffiti. So Joe sent the message to Loadstar people here saying, hey Phil, Nose and friends, I bring you a humble request from the Rocket Pool community today. Many of the guys have switched to Loadstar and want to participate in this incentive you're running, but they also want to do other things with their graffiti. Now, by default, the smart node sticks a prefix onto the graffiti that includes your client selection. For example, RP-NS version 1.9.1, and then open bracket hello world close bracket. It says the NS signifies Nethermind as the execution layer, and Loadstar with the S highlighted as the consensus layer, since Lighthouse already took L. The guys would like to know if this prefix can be used in place of putting Loadstar in the graffiti, since this prefix means we limit them to 16 custom characters and they want it to use it for other things. So hopefully Loadstar will be able, will accept this. As far as I know, we haven't heard back from what Loadstar have responded about this. I'll definitely let you know when I know more. I'm looking to maybe change my consensus layer client to Loadstar as well. Not even before I knew about the incentive. That was just because it's like the most minority client right now. So it's definitely good for some decentralization of clients. I just need to make sure that it's all running properly for Rocket Pool users. I have seen a couple of small complaints about it and people like missing attestations, but I don't know if that's because of Loadstar or if it's because of the MEV stuff. So I'll keep an eye on it for the next few days and weeks, and then I'll make a decision about switching. So next we had this tweet thread from Thor. And Thor here says, ETH liquid staking has grown to a $15 billion market, all of which will be unlocked with Shanghai in less than a week. Be prepared for huge shifts in the market. An in-depth analysis on the liquid staking landscape and 6 strong protocols. So Thor is quite famous in the Twitter, crypto Twitter. So he released this really good thread, and then he starts by giving a quick intro to what liquid staking is. He says, since the start of the year, the total amount of ETH staked via liquid staking has increased 21% from 6.8 million to 8.23 million ETH. Post Shanghai, the risk of not being able to unstake redeem the LSTs at true value will be gone. On a larger time frame, I therefore strongly expect this to cause a large inflow of ETH into liquid staking protocols, which will increase revenues across the board. Few protocols have been gaining market share recently and could continue this post Shanghai. I think he means a few protocols. So then the first one he talks about is Rocket Pool. He says the total ETH staked with Rocket Pool is 441,000 ETH. So their Q1 stats, so they've had 90,000 ETH inflowed since the beginning of the year. The market share has gone from 4.9% to 5.3%, and RPL USD token has increased by 137%. Thor goes on to say the Atlas upgrade will go live on April 18th and will allow for unstaking of ETH, but also introduces gas optimization, higher node operator rewards, and 8 ETH mini pools. Running a node is far more rewarding, and being able to do so with only 8 ETH is quite significant. And of course, you'll have to add 2.4 ETH of RPL to that. It says when running a node mini pool, users must lock between 10% and 150% of the staked ETH in RPL as collateral protocol insurance. With this model, a larger amount of ETH staked on Rocket Pool equals a larger RPL market cap price. Solid tokenomics with a green tick. After that, he talks about Frax Finance and how they've gained market share in that time. And then after that, he talks about Fold Finance and Lido Finance and Stakewise and Stater Labs as well. And then at the end, he has a comparative analysis saying, below is a table display of the largest LST providers and their respective yield. No surprise, Frax ETH has seen the largest relative 30-day growth in the ETH staked. As long as they deliver the largest yield, this growth will likely continue. So then there's a comparison of the staking yield here. Rocket Pool is on the lower end of 4%, and then Frax is on the higher end of 5.6%. And Rocket Pool's staked ETH has gone up 15% in the last 30 days. Frax has gone up nearly 30%. Lidos has gone up 11%. Stakewise 10%, and Anchor 14%. So Rocket Pool has had slightly above average, but Frax is kind of skewing the information there, but slightly above average growth for the last 30 days compared to the others. And it says below is an overview of the before mentioned as well as native token data. ETH staked value market cap is a good indicator of the valuation that these native tokens are trading at. High number equals low valuation, which means that Lido is trading at a good value given ETH staked. So here you have Lido and their ETH staked value versus market cap is 5.3. So like Thor said, the higher the number, maybe the better it is. And Rocket Pool is 1.36, which is almost 1-to-1. Frax is 0.37. So their Frax token value is a lot more than the market cap. That's the same with Anchor at 0.4, and Stakewise is 4.7 as well. So actually, maybe that's do I mean that the other way around? I think I mean that the other way around. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so the higher the amount of ETH staked locked versus their market cap, so the higher that number, it means that the bigger the difference, basically. Yeah, and Anchor is the same. Their market cap is a lot higher than the amount of ETH stake that they have. So those are interesting numbers to look at as well. Like I said, this is like a really, really good thread from Thor. There's a lot of good information here. He says, of course, other things should be taken into account, such as upcoming catalysts, tokenomics, etc. He says, Frax trades at a very high valuation according to his metric, which is because Frax Finance is far more than just liquid staking protocol and have many revenue generating products. So that he goes on to explain why that difference is, and he says, I believe all of these protocols have arguments for future growth, especially as ETH liquid staking market expands. I'm keeping an especially close eye on Frax and RPL for now, not financial advice. So he says, if you enjoyed this analysis, he just wants to like and retweet. So I liked it already, but I will also give it a retweet for covering an episode. So thank you, Thor, for that analysis. It's quite interesting. You can read the analysis. The link is in the description, and you can get you can read what he says about all the other protocols there as well. Okay, next we have a couple of tweets from Teller Finance, who he says, Houston, we have liquidity. Use rETH as collateral for a USDC loan. Stake ETH on Rocket Pool. Leverage rETH on Teller. Defend against price volatility. Lift up Rocket Pool and Teller protocol. So this is like a lending service where you can then use that lending to leverage your rETH to get more returns. Of course, it's and then there's another tweet here as well saying, set a reminder on April 7th, which is today. They will be on a call with the Rocket Pool team at 2 p.m. Eastern time to talk about leveraging rETH and topics will include Teller's alpha testing, Rocket Pool's Atlas upgrade, Shanghai, and more. So definitely give that a listen today if you are interested in learning about what Teller does. I'm going to say something that might be wrong now, but definitely look into it if you're curious about more information. So Teller is doing the same kind of thing that other services do, where they let you borrow USDC against your rETH. From my understanding, this is has liquidation risks, so please be careful when interacting with these DeFi protocols, because they you might lose what you put in. So please be careful before you make any deposits or whatever. Like they said, the alpha testing is happening for Teller, so I'm not sure what stage they are in their process, but definitely keep that in mind. Okay, next we've got another integration here as well. A Reserve protocol saying we are excited to announce new ETH liquid staking token instead of derivative plugins. We're offering plugins for Lido Finance and Rocket Pool, with more on the horizon. With Ethereum Shapella upgrade around the corner, it's a fantastic time to explore the potential of ETH LSTs. So then there's a thread where they're talking about what they're doing. So there's a quick primer on LSTs. LSTs are talking about decentralization and about the yield opportunities that are available and how you can start working with the LSD plugins. So people are already correcting them, saying it's LST, damn it. But yeah, so the other protocols now are already working on integrating rETH, which is wonderful. Like, I feel like there's a new announcement every day, which is just so great. Finally, we have this update from EigenLayer, and they said we've completed load testing the EigenLayer Discord, and its setup structure is now openly accessible at discord.gg/EigenLayer. Looking forward to meeting. So I joined the EigenLayer Discord. Actually, let me just give you guys a quick second. I haven't spent too much time in there yet, but I can just give you a quick tour of it if you give me a second. Actually, let me just find a random comment. Just a second. I should have had this ready from before. I'm sorry. So I'll just go to like the channels. Sorry if you can't see it because of my video, but at the top left, they have browse channels, they have information, so announcements, resources, super staker. I think that is a special role if you have a certain amount of tokens. And then there's testnet information, so restake feed, testnet feedback, testnet support. And then we have the community channels, like a good morning, good night channel, a general channel, and a report scammers channel. And then there's ecosystem channels, so they have ETH Staker, Lido, Hyperlane, Mantle, and Rocket Pool. The Rocket Pool channels got full of like a bunch of people whose names I don't recognize, but that's fine. I recognize some like Phils.eth is here. I saw Vaka here earlier, but people are just like kind of getting set up and trying to figure out what they can do, what's going on. And yeah, if you are interested in playing around with EigenLayer, pop into their Discord and you can get information about what's going on. I haven't played around with it too much yet. I am interested in figuring out what's going on. So definitely pop in there and have a look around if you are curious about that. So on that note, I am going to end today's episode. I hope you all have a lovely week ahead, and I will see you all on Monday. Bye.